In this lightweight blackface class, extremely powerful class. Starting with this ewe lamb, she's definitely the firmest handling. She's got the most volume and mass. I really appreciate her uniformity and depth from front to rear. She's very smooth down that top, just a really complete package. Not quite the overall length that we have in lambs in second and third, but she percentages real well from that loin and hip area. The lamb here in second, a little bigger frame. I think this lamb down the road could easily move into first spot, but today he's just not quite enough to him. A little shallow in the rear flank and the front flank. Say not quite the uniformity of depth front to rear, but very long-bodied, very well-made lamb. Lamb in third follows him real well. Just doesn't have the overall volume of muscle that we have in these first two lambs. Very green yet, and I think he'll come along. We got three more lambs here. They're very, very competitive. A lot of shows they could be up there a little higher, but just very well-balanced, long-bodied, level top, a lot of meat, and very clean in their patterns, properly finished for this lightweight.
All right, thank you, Larry. So this is the lightweight blackface lead lamb class, and that was Jennifer Resch with our champion lightweight lamb, followed by Avery Smith. Coming in second place, Kyle Grau, third. Jennifer Resch had a second sheep in that class, fourth. Rounding out the class was Avery Smith and Michael Gonerman. So let's give Jennifer Resch a hand for our champion lightweight blackface lamb. All right, as I said earlier, we've got three classes in the blackface lead lamb. Out in the show ring now is our medium weights. We've got Lindsey Grau with Groom and Bloom, Lainey Lorch with Silver Lakers, Aiden Quayle with Groom and Bloom, Avery Smith with Groom and Bloom, Claire Tillotson with Groom and Bloom, Taylor Tunglin with Groom and Bloom, Aubrey Wallace with the Silver Lakers, and Tyler Wallace with the Silver Lakers. Again, this is our medium weight blackface lead lamb. All right, at this moment, I'd like to introduce our 2021 Dickinson County Fair Queen, Kylan Green. Let's give her a hand. Kylan is going to tell us a little bit about herself, maybe the number of years she's been in 4-H, and kind of what her future holds.
Hi. I've been in 4-H since the 4th grade, and I've showed horses and cattle since then, and then I've done static projects as well. I'll be going to Brookings, South Dakota, SDSU in the fall, and then I'm excited to be representing Dickinson County at the Iowa State Fair, August 14th.
All right, let's give Kylan a hand. We also have a little princess here. And it's Amelia Myrie, right? Come on over, Amelia. Why don't you just step right up on this chair here? Don't tell your parents that I had you do that. We'll hold on to you. Why don't you say hello to the crowd here and tell them what you like about 4-H? How old are you?
7.
All right, and what 4-H club are you going to be involved in? What town are you from?
Milford.
You're from Milford. Are you going to be a Milford Pioneer then? Probably, yeah. So what are you looking forward to showing when you get old enough to be in 4-H?
Horses.
Horses, all right. Well, let's give Amelia a hand. Thanks for coming out today. All right, if you're just joining us, we're in the middle of the medium weight lead lamb blackface class right now. A couple new things just to draw your attention to at this year's fair. Tonight at the pie auction at 7 o'clock, as you walk into the hallway there will be projects that the kids partook in, and it was called the Bucket of Junk. So they were given bucket of junk from Kuhlman Welding, and the kids could create anything they wanted out of that, and that was judged. And Michael Gonerman was our champion this year, and he created a locomotive out of his bucket of junk. So kids were very creative and a lot of neat things. So as you're walking into the pie auction or as you're heading into the expo building there, please note the projects that those kids made out of the bucket of junk. Also, new this year in the community room, John and Emily Betcher with Betcher Seeds sponsored the Tall Corn Contest, and so go in there and check out the tall corn, which is fun to see as well. The exhibit building opens at noon today, and it'll be open till 7, and that's a great place to go in and check out all the kids' projects for this year.
This medium weight class of these black-faced lambs, we got some really good lambs here. Lamb I'm starting with is the most complete lamb. He's not the longest bodied lamb, which we have in the one in second, but he just has enough more volume and capacity and muscle thickness down through that center and lower portion of the leg. Very firm handling. Like I say, just gives up a little bit of the overall body length, but I like his uniformity and that depth from front to rear. A lot of volume, a lot of capacity in this lamb. The ewe lamb in second here, there again, like I say, the longest bodied, really long in that loin and hip, but just a little shallower in her flank. She's very green yet. She can go another 30, 40 pounds. She could be very competitive at heavier weight if she just fills out a little bit. Lamb in third just gives up a little bit of that overall length. Not quite as well put together, strong down his top, but just not the overall length we have in the lambs above. Another lamb coming up here, just two lambs, kind of the same deal. They just not quite as attractive, don't have quite the overall muscle that we have, not quite as firm in their cover today. Another very well muscled lamb here coming up next, but just comes up a little too short when you get him out there on the side view. Two lambs fall into the red ribbon category, just give up some muscling and overall length that we have in the top lambs.
All right, that was our medium class blackface, and that was Aubrey Wallace with our champion in that class, followed by Avery Smith with a reserve champion. And third was Tyler Wallace, followed by Taylor Tunglin, Claire Tillotson, Aiden Quayle, Lindsey Grau, and Lainey Lorch. Let's give Aubrey Wallace a hand for our medium weight blackface champion lamb. All right, our heavyweight blackface lambs are coming out into the show ring at this moment. We've got Jennifer Resch with two lambs in this class. Sullivan Radcliffe with the Groom and Bloom. Wesley Radcliffe has two lambs as well in this class with Groom and Bloom. Avery Smith has another lamb in this class with the heavyweights. And Miley Wadji with the Silver Lakers rounds out the class. Following this class, we'll bring the champion and the reserve champion of each of the three blackface classes out, and we will crown our champion overall blackface. And after that, then we'll bring the whiteface, speckleface, and the champion in reserve from the blackface, and we'll crown an overall grand champion market lead lamb. All right, just a quick announcement here. CFE has graciously donated a number of things, and they're located on the table there on the west side of the show ring here. But on this table, all sheep and goat exhibitors can pick one thing off the table. There's also some coloring books, and those coloring books are open to anybody that would like one there. But all sheep and goat exhibitors on the table on the west side of the show ring here, you can pick one thing off the table, and that is sponsored, and all those things were donated by CFE. So thank you, CFE, for donating those things. So please, all exhibitors, make sure to grab something off that table.
Here again, another excellent class of market lambs. I think there's an easy winner in this class. Extremely long-bodied, very firm handling. He's very long in that hip. It's where he really excels the lamb in second is the overall body length, but especially in that hind saddle. They're both really good in their finish. Lamb in second, probably just a little more expression and pop to that loin over that shoulder area, carrying back into the loin. Just two really good lambs, but I'm going with the overall length and length of hip in this first lamb. Lamb in third is another very long-bodied lamb, just not quite as put together as well, showing a little more brisket, starting to pop out a little bit there, not quite as stylish from the side, a little higher in that rear flank than we have in the first two lambs. A real heavy muscled lamb coming up here next, but he's probably the heaviest muscled lamb through the center and lower part of that leg, but just gives up too much overall body length to go up any higher. Another good lamb here, heavy muscled lamb, All three of these last ones are excellent quality market lambs. They're all in the blue ribbon category.
All right, that was our heavyweight class, and our champion in that class was a sheep shown by Avery Smith. Reserve champion was Jennifer Resch, and third was Amiley Wajda, and fourth, Jennifer Resch's second sheep. Rounding out the class was Wesley Radcliffe and Sullivan Radcliffe. Let's give Avery a hand for our heavyweight blackface champion. So at this time, we're going to bring out the light, medium, and heavyweight blackface lambs, both the champion and reserve, and we will we'll crown an overall champion blackface and reserve blackface. So again, out in the ring, we have our lightweight, medium weight, and heavyweights champion and reserve. And again, that was in the lightweight class. We have Jennifer Resch and Avery Smith with the grand and reserve. In the medium weight class, we have Aubrey Wallace and Avery Smith with the champion and reserve. In our heavyweight, we have Avery Smith and Jennifer Resch with the grand, or with the champion and reserve.
For the champion in this blackface division, I'm going to go with this heavyweight lamb. I really like the overall length, the firmness down the top, that length of hip, properly conditioned lamb, just really excels the others in those categories. So if you'd pull him out, we'll bring this second place one up. I think it gets real close here for reserve. We got two excellent lambs in this second place heavyweight and this middleweight lamb. They're pretty much alike in their design and type and everything. I'm going to go with the second place heavyweight. I think we just got a little more overall firmness, a little more muscle, a little leveler down the top. They're all very small differences, but just enough to make, I'm going to use him for reserve champion.
All right, thanks, Larry. So that's Avery Smith with our champion blackface coming out of the heavyweight class, and our reserve blackface Jennifer Resch as well. The reserve blackface coming out of the heavyweight market lead lamb blackface. So let's give Avery and Jennifer a hand. So those two sheep will stay out in the ring, and we'll be bringing out our white face and our speckled face champion and reserve champion. Our white face lamb was shown by Jennifer Resch with the Spirit Lakers, and our reserve out of the white face was Tyler Tunglin with Groom and Bloom. Our speckled face champion was shown by Wesley Radcliffe with Groom and Bloom. And our second reserve champion out of that speckle face was shown by Michael Gonerman with the Milford Pioneers. All right, fun fact. Sheep are hard to catch because they have a 300-degree eyesight, so they can see behind them. Couple other fun facts. There are over 1 billion sheep in the world, and a group of sheep is called a herd or a flock. Most often called a flock. Yes, so I did not know that. Sheep have a field of vision around 300 degrees. Well done, Sam, on catching that lamb.
This champion lamb overall, I'm going to go with this black-faced lamb, like I said in class, and really like the overall length, the muscling, the finish of this lamb. He just excels the others in this class. Pull him up. Coming out here for reserve, we got the second place blackface. I'm going to go ahead and use him for reserve grand because the speckled face lamb are really a lot of muscle, like the overall body length, but carrying a little more condition that we have today. Big lamb, but say this second place blackface is just a little more properly finished today.
All right, so we've got the two heavyweights in the blackface class that are our grand champion and reserve grand champion. So that again is Avery Smith and Jennifer Resch. All right, that rounds out our lead lamb classes. Coming up next, we're going to have our pen of 3, and we've got a white face pen of 3 shown by Tyler Tunglin. So we've got our market pen of 3, and once we're done with that, we'll have our speckle face market pen of 3. Following that, we'll have our black face pen of 3. We just have one pen of 3 here, and again, that's Tyler Tunglin with our white face pen of 3. Tyler Tunglin is with the Groom and Bloom 4-H Club.
Housekeeping note, Larry would like to do we've got the breeding sheep listed behind.
This whiteface pen of 3, we're definitely going with the blue ribbon. High quality lambs, properly conditioned, close to being uniform in their size, not quite, but close enough to definitely be in the blue ribbon category.
All right, congratulations, Tyler. That was a blue ribbon, pen of 3, white face. We just have one 4-H'er here in the speckle face pen of 3 class, and that's Wesley Radcliffe with Groom and Bloom. Helping Wesley out in the show ring is Lindsay Grau and Claire Tillotson.
Here again, high quality lambs carrying just a little bit too much condition today, but they have enough meat and structure and style and everything to them to definitely be in the blue category.
All right, congratulations, Wesley, with a blue ribbon pen of 3 speckle face. Next into the show ring, we have the Market pen of 3 black face. We have four 4-H'ers that have a pen of 3 here in the black face. Wesley Radcliffe will be coming back out with a Groom and Bloom Club. Jennifer Resch with the Spirit Lakers. Avery Smith with Groom and Bloom. And Miley Wajda with the Silver Lakers. Smith at 0.62 pounds per day. 9th, Wes Radcliffe at 0.6. And in 10th, Michael Gonnerman and Avery Smith at 0.57. So let's give Sullivan Radcliffe a hand at 0.82 pounds per day there. The rate of gain is definitely important, as if you're raising meat sheep and you want to efficiently get them to market. Obviously, rate of gain is very important in the industry, and getting that lamb, getting pounds on those lambs and getting them ready for market. So again, let's give Sullivan Radcliffe a hand for his 0.82 pounds champion rate of gain. That's music to a banker's ears. I just asked what they're going to do with the money, and they both said, save it. I love it.
We have a happy banker. Don't worry about it.
They'll come out of Brad's account.
All right, coming out into the show ring, we have our senior showmanship class. Again, this is our senior showmanship class. And out in the ring, coming out in the ring is Michael Gonerman with the Milford Pioneers. Lindsey Grau with Groom and Bloom. Wyatt Lorch with Silver Lake Whale with Groom and Bloom. Wesley Radcliffe with Groom and Bloom. All right. So again, this is our senior showmanship class. Out in the show ring is Michael Gonerman, Lindsey Grau, Aiden Quayle, Wesley Radcliffe, Claire Tillotson, and Tyler Tungland. Just a reminder, after our showmanship is over, we'll be bringing out the 4-H Clover kids for the sheep and goat show for those future 4-Hers. Immediately following that, we'll get started with the goat show. The Silver Lakers will be serving a lunch today from 11 to 1:30 here in the indoor arena. Again, the exhibit building's open at noon and are open until 7 o'clock. One new thing there in the community room is the tall corn contest, and the John and Emily Betcher with Betcher Seed sponsored that contest, and so stop on in the community room to check out the tall corn. That's a fun new project there, and also a new project is a bucket of junk, and that's located right inside the hallway there as you enter the expo building. And Coolman Welding donated the junk, and the 4-H kids that participated basically created anything they wanted out of that junk. And Michael Gonerman was our winner, who created a locomotive out of his junk. So check that out. Tonight, the beef producers will be serving supper tonight from 5 to 7, and the pie auction starts at 7 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow's activities are the beef show. Pork producers will be serving supper, and the ranch rodeo starts at 7:30. On Wednesday, we have the swine show, pedal tractor pull, food truck roundup, fashion and communication showcase. The fair awards program starts at 5:30. And Thursday morning, the pancake breakfast and the livestock auction. The pancakes start at 6:30, and the livestock auction starts at 8 o'clock.
the other two?
This showmanship class, I think we got an excellent set of individuals out here. They've all done a fine job. But these are the three that I'm going to sort to the top. The young man here in first, I think he wins this quite handily. He's very calm in his movements, has his lamb set up the best. The lamb has been well trained. He's got the feet and legs squarely underneath it. Doesn't get real showy, real excited about it. Just presents the lamb in a very nice way, moves around the ring real well, pays attention to what's going on. It's really close between second and third. I'm glad they said three so I can have both of you out here because you're both deserving to be out here. To me, we're talking fine lines here. You had your lamb. He's a big lamb. You had him stretched 3 or 4 times. He's long enough. He doesn't really need to be stretched at that side view. But this young man here had his feet and legs a little square underneath him. Both have done a fine job, but that's pretty much the only reason you're second and you're third. Everybody else out here has done a nice job. I don't like you seeing changing sides. The young man here did that every time you went around, you changed sides. It just, how often do you lead your lamb that way? You know, so do what's comfortable, but still have control of the lamb. So thank you.
All right. Congratulations, Tyler Tunglin. He is our senior showmanship champion, followed by Aiden Quayle, reserve, and in third, Wesley Radcliffe. So great job, Tyler, on showcasing your sheep there. Let's give Tyler a hand. All right, now in the show ring, we have our junior sheep showmanship participants. We've got 7 participants out in the show ring. Kyle Grau with Groom and Bloom, Lainey Lorch with the Silver Lakers, Sophia Lorch with the Silver Lakers, Jennifer Resch with Spirit Lakers, Taylor Tunglin with Groom and Bloom, Tyler Wallace with Silver Lakers, and Miley Wagey with the Silver Lakers. That's Miley Wagey with the Silver Lakers.
On this showmanship class, I'm going to talk a little bit about the people back here first. The biggest thing with all four of you, you didn't have the feet and legs set under the lambs. The young lady in second here from the end, you're paying too much attention to the judge. You need to know where they're at, but you're watching and walking. You need to pay attention to your lamb. And then get the legs squared up underneath them. So whenever the judge looks, the lamb's presented the best of its ability. But you've all done a nice job, but just some little things that these three were sorted to the top. The young lady I'm starting with, she had it one hands down until you made one mistake, and you realized it, but you didn't know how to get out of it. You changed sides, you tried leading your lamb, and he doesn't lead from that side, does he? So that's why I don't want to see you change sides. If you're in my way for just a little bit, if I want to see that lamb, I'll get positioned myself to where I can see it. But you still won. You didn't screw up bad enough to not win. The young lady in second's done an excellent job too. But there again, once in a while, your lamb is stretched just a little bit. See, like right there? You got him stretched a little bit too much. They're not square underneath him. The young man here in third, just not quite as smooth as the other ladies ahead of you, but you've done a nice job of presenting the lamb. You got his feet and legs under him. You're pretty slow and fluid in your motions. Nice job, but just not quite as polished as the first two. Thank you.
All right. Congratulations, Taylor Tunglin, on the champion junior sheep showmanship, followed by Jennifer and Tyler Wallace. So our first, second, and third, again, were Taylor Tunglin, Jennifer Resch, and Tyler Wallace. We should probably talk to Taylor and Tyler and see which one coached the other. I don't know, did Taylor learn from Tyler, or did Tyler learn from Taylor? All right. We have three young kids out here with sheep, and that's Austin Lortz from Milford, Lennon Umscheid, and Elias Umscheid from Okoboji. So Austin, Lennon, and Eli. Are the goats coming out after that? Yeah, we'll do that after this. Okay.
What else? And the goats. The goats are next after the sheep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't see that novice deal. They're both there. Because they were asking out there why we came in before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, do we give these guys participation?
Amelia has
Oh, okay.
I told her to make sure they all get one ribbon.
Okay, in this Clover class, Clover kids, we have Ellie and Bonnie and Oreo out here. So that's the lambs. That's not the kids. But they all seem to know what they're feeding them. I asked them that, and I did stress. I said, "Now you give them water, don't you?" "Oh yeah, we give them water." So hot weather like we've been having, you got to make sure they have plenty of water. But the young kids are doing a nice job, and they're the future down the road here, are coming out in the show ring. So let's give them a round of applause.
All right, well done.
Novice showmanship.
Okay, so what? That's first timers or what?
I don't know what they
So there's two of them, but one of them is doing participation only, and then the number 53, the Aubrey Wallace, is the only one that can. So that's Aubrey. Novice sheep showmanship. I just.
you can just give them a blue ribbon, and it'll be done with it. And 45 will get a participation.
Okay. There's only one that gets placed.
Number 8.
Number 8.
So what's the description of this?
See, I don't make the rules. I just try to abide by them.
Those are novice sheep.
This is novice showmanship. This is novice showmanship.
What does that mean?
It must be the beginner, the first year. Yeah. So
And that doesn't fall into junior showmanship.
So Kate will be the only one, and she'll get a blue.
Why is he? Why do they do this?
All right, so out in the show ring we have Aubrey Wallace with the Silver Lakers and Avery Smith. And these two are our novice sheep showmanship participants. So prior to being included in the junior sheep showmanship, these kids are first year showmanship. So there's a novice class, then the junior, and then the senior with showmanship. After this class, then we'll have our Clover Kids goat exhibitors come out into the ring, and that will conclude the sheep and the Clover Kids part of today. And we'll take probably a quick break and move right into the goat show.
Well, there's only one in the class because the other one gets, yeah, the one on this side.
Okay, in this novice showmanship class, we've got two young ladies doing a nice job. Just make a few comments here. The young lady on this side, very well controlled of her lamb. She gets the feet and legs set up pretty good. They're not quite square all the time. You're overshowing a little bit. Just kind of relax a little bit. And the young lady here in second, when you came walking up, you didn't stop quite quick enough. You need to anticipate. You line up on the lamb that's ahead of you, and you should stay in the straight line. So start, getting them to slow down a little bit so you don't have to go up and then come back. But for this age group, they've both done an excellent job.
Yes. All right. Well done, Aubrey and Avery. Looking forward to seeing you in the junior sheep showmanship next year. All right. We need some exhibitors. All right. We need the following kids to show up on the north side of the arena here for pictures, right? Show our sheep show winners. Avery Smith, Jennifer Resch, Taylor Tunglin, and Tyler Tunglin all need to show up right now. Oh, they just got them all done. All right. Never mind. We're good. program again on Wednesday. And on Thursday morning, the pancake breakfast starts at 6:30. It concludes at 8 when the livestock still gets started again at 8 o'clock a.m. on Thursday. So please come out and support our 4-H'ers and the Dickinson County Fair. Everyday activities include the barnyard golf, story walk, read across the fair, and cornhole. So come back out and enjoy all the activities going on this week at our Dickinson County Fair. All right, I've got a little details on the Ranch Rodeo, which is again Tuesday night at 7:30. Looks to be very entertaining. You're to put together a 4-person team. You must have 1 girl and 1 boy per team. The combined age cannot exceed the sum of 72. So a 4-person team, 1 girl, 1 boy at least per team. Combined age cannot exceed the sum of 72. It's going to be a timed event. 2 teams per wave. The 4 events are the Greased Pig Contest. Create a pen out of square bales. They'll have a small pig greased, and you have to catch the pig and get it into the pen. So Greased Pig. You'll have the Brand a Lamb, where each wave has a specified location to place their brand. It's a lick tub with a paint to dip brand into and then catch the lamb and place your brand. Dress a goat. You must put a tube on a goat in a pen, and then porta potty race. 1 contestant must spin a bat 10 times and then run a short distance to the porta pot. So that should be a very fun activity. Again, that's 7:30. That's the Ranch Rodeo on Tuesday night.
That'd be good.
Hey, it wouldn't take them long to catch me. It's just like a pig.
And this pen of 4 goats here, it's based on production, and they have some feed records and everything. I'm going to first with the redhead pretty much straight boar goats. They just got a little more cover, a little more conditioning. They're heavier. They grew a little bit faster. Good pen of goats here in second, but just not quite the overall gain.
All right, that is Emma Bondas with our champion feedlot goat, and Wyatt Lorch with our grand champion or reserve champion. All right. Our next class or category is going to be our altered male meat goat. And we've got 5 classes in the altered male category. So we've got, we'll start with our lightweights, and those are 50 to 65 pounds for our first class. And then classes 2 through 5 will progressively get heavier, finishing up with 95 to 110, 120 pounders. So, again, we're getting started with our altered male meat goat. These are 50 pounds to 65 pounds male goats. And in our show ring, we have Bella Barnhart, Aubrey Duas, Seth Goodell, Sophia Lorch, Ava Rashi, and Taylor Tunglin. Again, that's Bella Barnhart with the Silver Lakers, Aubrey Duas with Groom and Bloom, Seth Goodell with Silver Lakers, Sophia Lorch with the Silver Lakers, Ava Rashi with the Silver Lakers, and Taylor Tunglin with Groom and Bloom. one scratch here is Kendall Niemeyer might be on your program, but that is a female goat that will be judged in the female category there. So that goat has been moved to the proper class. I want to again thank our sponsors today for showmanship, feedlot, and rate of gain. And those sponsors today are Dickinson County Ag Society, the Iowa Great Lakes Chamber, Farmer Savings Bank, and the Mendel Wernemount family. So thank you to our sponsors today. As you can see, our goats are a little more dramatic than the sheep.
On this lightweight class of goats, I got a really nice pair to start this class. I'm going with a goat that's got a little more thickness down his top and down through that leg. Very long-bodied. This stage of the game, neither one's carrying too much condition. I really like the levelness of the high front end on this goat in second. Just doesn't have quite the overall thickness that we have in the goat in first. Goat in third is really thick-bodied, but just not quite as nice in its overall pattern, not quite as uniform. Thickness from front to rear, a little easier in the top, just not quite the pattern that we have in the first two. Another long-bodied, average muscle goat here. He still stay up in the blue category, just needs a little more time. We got two smaller frame. It could be a little younger, but just not quite high enough to go up into the blues today.
Do you want to keep that in your back pocket? We've got two that work now. Okay. That way I won't lose them.
All right. So that is our lightweight adult altered male meat goat class, and that was Aubrey Duez with our champion in that class, followed by Ava Rashi. Taylor Tunglin came in third, Sophia Lorch, Seth Goodell, and Bella Barnhout rounds out that class. Class number 2 in our altered male meat goat are 70 to 75 pounds. We've got 5 in this class. Bowden Barnhart, Nathan Goodell, Seth Goodell, Isabella Ostovic, and Taylor Tunglin. Again, that's Bowden Barnhart with the Silver Lakers, Nathan Goodell and Seth Goodell with the Silver Lakers, Isabella Ostovic with Groom and Bloom, and Taylor Tunglin with Groom and Bloom.
In this class, I think we got a really nice pair of goats to start here. I'm going with a really level top, really moves out well. He's got some thickness. When you get a hold of him right up in that rack, he's got a lot of thickness there, and like I say, very level top, stronger than the one we have in second. He's getting just questionable on how much width you can stand in them front legs. If he gets too much heavier, hopefully they stay together. The goat in second, just a lot of muscle, not quite the overall length, not quite the strength down the top. The one in third, there again, he's a little softer in that top. He's got some length, just not put together quite as well as the ones above it. The solid brown goat just doesn't have quite the overall thickness, but a good sound, good moving goat. And here again, another goat still in the blue ribbon category, a very desirable kind, just not quite to compete with the ones above it.
All right. Izzy Ostovic with our number one goat in class number 2. So that's Izzy Ostovic with Groom and Bloom. Our second place goat shown by Taylor Tunglin with Groom and Bloom. Rounding out the class, Nathan Goodell, Seth Goodell, and Bowden Barnhart with the Silver Lakers. Our third class will be coming out, our third goat class, and these are all 80-pounders. Bowden Barnhart with the Silver Lakers has a goat in this class as well. John Carr with the Groom and Bloom. Nathan Goodell with the Silver Lakers. Amy Martin with the Okoboji FFA. Tyler Tunglin has 2 goats in this 80-pound class with Groom and Bloom, and Kendall Niemeyer with the Silver Lakers rounds out this class. All right. For those of you just joining us here for the Goat Show, I'd like to bring up Kylan Green, who is our Dickinson County queen, and she'll be representing us at the state fair coming up. I'm going to have Kylan tell us a little bit about herself and what future lies ahead for her.
Hi, I'm a part of the Milford Pioneer 4-H group, and then I've been showing horses and cattle since the 4th grade. This is my last year showing here, and then I'll be going to Brookings, South Dakota, SDSU, in the fall for an animal science major and an ag business minor. And then I'm looking forward to being able to represent our county August 14th at the Iowa State Fair.
All right, let's give Kylan a hand. We know she'll do a great job representing our county there at the state fair coming up in August.
In this class, we're getting quite competitive here. I think we got a really nice pair of goats here to start the class. They're both very long-bodied, very firm handling down the top, got some muscle in that leg. I think this white goat that I'm starting with, just a little more overall length, a little stronger down his top, a little heavier bone, but just two very good, complete kind of goats. The brown goat here, really like his style and pattern. He's got enough muscle. He's got some thickness there. These can go on and grow just a little bit more, and I think he will fill out some more. If he does, he's going to be a really good example of a good meat goat. Goat in third here is the thickest one we have out here today. Just not quite the overall body length and stretch that we'd like to see, but he's really got good feet and legs under him. Just like to see some more length. Pair of goats coming up next. They're lacking just a little bit of the strength down the top. They don't have the amount of muscling that these first three do. Two more still be in the blue category down here. Just giving up a little bit of muscle. They got some good pattern to them, but giving up that muscle.
All right, here are the results of Class 3 altered male goat. Kendall Niemeyer with the champion goat in that weight. Reserve champion, Nathan Goodell's goat. Third in that class, John Carr. Fourth, Amy Martin. Fifth, Tyler Tunglin. And rounding out the class was Tyler's second goat and Bowden Barnhart. All blues. We've got two more classes in the altered male meat goat category. This is our class 4. These are 85 to 90 pound goats. In the show ring, we have Bowden Barnhart, Courtney Bachman. Courtney has two goats here with the Milford Pioneers. Emma Bondhuss with the Harris Lake Park FFA. Nathan Goodell, Ava Rashi, Taylor Tunglin and Tyler Tunglin, and Kendall Niemeyer. Again, these are 85 to 90 pound male meat goats, class 4. I'd like to again thank our sponsors for today. Dickinson County Ag Society, Iowa Great Lakes Chamber, Farmer Savings Bank, and the Mendel Wernamount family all sponsored today's sheep and goat show. And I'd like to also thank Brannigan Steichen and Shelly Mortensen for helping out in the show ring. So Brannigan Steichen and Shelly Mortensen, thank you for helping out here in the show ring this morning. Well done, Kendall, on the catch.
I think this is one of the most. This is one of the most difficult classes I've had today. I think we got 3 really good individuals here. I'm starting with this black-headed goat. You really got to appreciate the thickness, the muscling. Not quite as overall length that we have in the second place goat, but he sure walks out good on his feet and legs. Has that thickness up over that rack, carried back to the loin, really thick through the center part of that leg. A little longer bodied, bigger framed, a little heavier bone. This one have standing here in second, a little taller at the shoulder, adequate amount of muscling. It's flip a coin either way. I like the thickness in the other one better. Here again in third, long bodied, got a lot of meat, a lot of muscle to him, good on his feet and legs, walks out. The next 2 just give up a little bit of the strength down the top. They don't have quite the thickness. The brown goat coming out here, this is an example to me of what kind of be an issue. And if you watch this goat walk out, you watch his shoulder blades. They're really pronounced, and they're really moving a lot. If you start raising goats like that, you're going to have problems when they're kidding out, pulling kids and stuff. So three here on the bottom of the class that definitely are still in the blue ribbon category. They all have some meat and muscle, just don't have quite the overall bone and volume that we have in the ones ahead of them.
All right. The final results from Class 4, our altered male meat goat, was Nathan Goodell with the Silver Lakers with the champion meat goat in this weight class. Reserve champion Kendall Niemeyer with the Silver Lakers. Followed in third with Taylor Tunglin with his goat. Ava Rashi, fourth. Tyler Tunglin, fifth. And Emma Bondhus, Courtney Bachman, and Bowden Barnhout rounding out that class. Again, that was class number 4, 85 to 90 pound altered male meat class. Class 5 and our final adult altered male meat goat class, our final class, class number 5. I believe there's 8 entries here, and out in the show ring is John Carr with Groom and Bloom, Aubrey Duas with Groom and Bloom, Kyle Grau with the Groom and Bloom, Lindsay Grau, Groom and Bloom, Amy Martin with Okoboji FFA, Cora Niemeyer with the Silver Lakers, Izzy Ostovic with Groom and Bloom, and Aiden Quayle with Groom and Bloom. Again, this is class number 5, our final male meat goat class. Weights of 95 to 120 pounds. Lunch should be starting here pretty soon here in the indoor arena. The Silver Lakers will be serving us lunch. Again, 11 to 1:30 p.m. today. The exhibit building will open at noon today and be open every day from noon until 7. From 2 to 5, Farm Bureau Virtual Combine in the Expo Center. And our beef producers tonight will be serving up supper from 5 to 7. Supper again by the beef producers in the Expo building from 5 to 7 tonight. And our pie auction starts right after the beef producers finish grilling. 7 o'clock tonight, our pie auction. Please come out and support our local 4-H clubs and our 4-H council. One of their big fundraisers. Get a chance to bring home a great tasting pie and help out our 4-H club. Tomorrow gets started with the beef shows at 8 o'clock. Okoboji FFA serving lunch from 11 to 1. Field trip to the fairs at 1 o'clock. Farm Bureau Virtual Combine from 2 to 5. And pork producers will be serving supper on Tuesday night from 5 to 7. And the Ranch Rodeo, which I explained a little bit earlier, 4 categories. Looks like a fun time. Lots of laughs. A Ranch Rodeo from 7:30, starting at 7:30 Tuesday night. Wednesday, the Swine Show gets things started at 8. 10 a.m. Groom and Bloom kickball tournament. 1 o'clock pedal tractor pull. From 2 to 4 is our overall showmanship contest. 4 to 8 is our food truck roundup. 4:30 is our fashion and communications showcase. And 5:30 on Wednesday starts the Fair Awards program. Thursday from 6:30 to 8 is our pancake breakfast, and 8 o'clock the livestock sale begins. Again, we're in class number 5, our final class of a male meat goat.
Here again, this class, I think we got some really top quality individuals. The one I'm starting with, I think he just excels the rest of the class. He's got that look when he comes in the ring. You get your hands on him, he sure doesn't disappoint you. He's got a lot of bone, a lot of length, a lot of muscle, and very clean and refined down his top. Just pretty hard to fault him. The brown goat coming in second follows real close in the pattern. Just not quite the overall amount of muscling, but he does have that long level top. Moves out real good on his feet and legs. Moving in some more goats here. They have a lot of meat and capacity. They just don't have the overall body length that I'd like to see in them. We got 4 of those kind here. Getting a little easier in their tops, so sagging in the middle a little bit, a little heavier in the stomach. Good feeding programs, but just not quite the overall profile that we have. And 2 very desirable goats here on the end, still in the blue ribbon category, just giving up some of that thickness and muscle that we have in the top end.
All right, all blues in that class. Again, that was our final class, Class 5 in the altered male meat goat. And that was Izzy Ostovic from Groom and Bloom with the champion male meat goat. Reserve champion Aubrey Duez. 3rd, Aiden Quayle. 4th, John Carr. 5th, Lindsey Grau. And rounding out the class, Kyle Grau, Cora Niemeyer, and Amy Martin. We bringing out each of the champion and reserve champion in the 5 classes here, and we'll be crowning an overall champion male meat goat. So out of the first class, the lightweight, Aubrey Duez had the champion. Ava Rashi had the reserve. Second class, Izzy Ostovic had the champion, and Taylor Tunglin had the reserve. Class 3, third class, was Kendall Niemeyer with the champion and Nathan Goodell with the reserve. The fourth class was Nathan Goodell with the champion and Kendall Niemeyer with the reserve. And the heavyweight class was Izzy Ostovic with the champion and Aubrey Duez, the reserve.
Izzy's got a good chance of winning. He's got 2.
Right.
For this championship drive, I think we got some really good class winners out here. To me, the one that excels all the rest, the fairly easy champion, is going to be your heavyweight out of this last class here. For the reserve champion, I'm going to go with the second heavyweight. I really like this brown goat, the overall length, the body, the pattern. Not quite as firm in his handle as this champion goat, but follows very well in the pattern.
All right, congratulations, Izzy Ostovic with our overall champion male meat goat and Aubrey Duez with our reserve champion male meat goat. Let's give them a hand. All right, moving on to our females. There'll be 2 classes of our female meat goat. So 2 classes, and then we'll move into the breeding classes. So there's a couple breeding class, senior and a junior breeding class, and then a novelty, and we'll move into the showmanship after that, and that should round out our goat show for today. So female meat goat, there's 2 classes. lightweight and a heavier weight there. Our lightweight class is from 60 to 80 pounds. Seven exhibitors, I believe, in this class. John Carr, Groom and Bloom. Seth Goodell, Silver Lakers. Lindsey Grau with the Groom and Bloom. Amy Martin with Okoboji FFA. Ava Rashi with the Silver Lakers. Jennifer Resch with the Spirit Lakers. And Kendall Niemeyer is an addition with Silver Lakers in this class. Again, John Carr, Seth Goodell, Lindsey Grau, Amy Martin, Ava Rashi, Jennifer Resch, and Kendall Niemeyer. Just a few fun facts about goats. As I mentioned earlier, there's more goat milk drank worldwide than cow milk, because goat milk is easily digestible and less allergenic than cows. Another goat fact is goats do not like to get wet and will seek shelter when it's raining. And worldwide, people eat more goat meat than any other animal as well. Baby goats are called kids, male goats are called bucks or billies, and female goats are called does or nannies.
Here again, we have one that easily wins the class in my mind. Very long-bodied, very heavily muscled, good feet and legs, moves out real well, strength down the top, just a good, complete animal. Goat in second has a lot of muscle to him, just not quite the height at the point of the shoulder. Gives up a little bit of overall character that we have in the smoothness and the pattern in the lines. A little bit coarser in those shoulders, moving that blade's moving a little more than I'd like to see, but still has enough thickness. A pair of goats coming in here next. They really have long bodies, giving up some of that thickness. They're not quite the handle down the top that we have on those first ones, but have a lot of frame and have some potential to go on. A real thick-made little girl here coming out next. Just a lot of thickness. I don't know, question whether how big she's going to get. Don't have to be real big, but she's giving up some of that frame and size. And the next two are just giving up some overall muscle down the top and through the leg.
All right, that's Jennifer Resch with our champion female meat goat, Class 1. Reserve champion Seth Goodell, followed by Amy Martin, Ava Rashi, John Carr, Kendall Niemeyer, and Lindsay Grau. Moving into our show ring is our second class of our female meat goat. These are, looks like 85 pounders to 105 or 110 pounds, 85 to 110. In the show ring, we have Aubrey Duas, Nathan Goodell, Kyle Grau has two goats in this class, Aiden Quayle, Jennifer Resch, and Claire Tillotson.
Here again, I think we've got 3 goats here on top that I'd be happy to have any one of them. I'm going to start with this solid brown. Really like her pattern when she gets out there. She moves out real good. When you watch, a lot of times the last 2 or 3, I'll walk them around again. If you watch, you can see the muscle move. You can see the shoulder blades move. You can pick out a lot of things as well as just handling them. You watch how that muscle moves, gives an indication of what's really under there. But I really like her pattern, her profile. She's uniform in her depth from front to rear. Just a little more frame and scale than we have in this one in second, but I really like the way she handles. Really firm down her top. She's got some really good thickness through the center and lower part of her leg. Just gives up a little bit in frame size to the one I have in third, but she just doesn't have quite the overall handle that I have in this one in second. A lot of volume, a lot of muscle, but just not quite as fresh in her handling. Moving to some more goats that have adequate muscle to them, good on their feet and legs, are all in the blue ribbon category. Not in trouble yet.
Not yet. You haven't talked to me yet.
Oh. Believe you.
All right, that's our second class, class number 2 of our female meat goats, our heavier weights there, and that was Aiden Quayle with our champion from Groom and Bloom, and our reserve Jennifer Resch with the Spirit Lakers. Coming in third, Aubrey Duiz. Fourth, Kyle Grau. Fifth, Claire Tillotson, and rounding out the class was Kyle's second goat and Nathan Goodell. So let's give them a hand on that class. Coming out in our ring now is going to be the Class 1 and Class 2 of the female meat goats. We'll crown an overall champion female meat goat, and then we'll bring the champion and reserve out of the female and the grand champion from the male and crown an overall grand champion meat goat.
Right?
All right, in the show ring now, so we have the lightweight and the heavier weight of our female meat goats. So it's Jennifer Resch with our champion and Seth Goodell with our reserve in the lighter weight. And from the heavier weight, Aiden Quayle with the champion and Jennifer Resch with the reserve.
On this champion on the female meat goat, I'm going to go with the heavyweight, the brown goat. Really like her overall body extension, her cleanness. She's got a lot of thickness and muscling, but still very clean up through that front end, moves out real well in her feet and legs. For reserve, I'm going with the second heavyweight. I like the muscle, the pattern she has, just not quite the overall frame, but I think she's got enough more muscle in her down that top than the first place in the lightweight to go ahead and be reserve.
All right, that's the champion and the reserve champion coming out of the heavier female meat goat class. Again, that's Aiden Quayle with the champion overall female meat goat and Jennifer Resch with the reserve champion overall female meat goat. So Aiden and Jennifer stay out there with the females, and coming back out in the ring will be Izzy Ostovic and Aubrey Duez with the male meat goats.
Champion market goat. I think we got 4 excellent individuals out here today. To me, I said in class that the one that stands out to me is going to be the weather goat, the white one. He's just an outstanding individual from the ground up, front to rear. No matter how you look at him, whether he's on the move or set up, he's just a really powerful individual. Reserve, I think it gets a lot closer. I'm going to go with the female goat. I think she's just a little stronger down her top. She's a little straighter down that top, a little leveler out through her rump. Both of them, the second place weather has a very adequate amount of muscling, but I really like the style and pattern that this brown goat has. Thank you.
All right, so that's grand champion meat goat coming from the male class, Isabella Ostovic, with our overall grand champion, and the female coming out of the female class, Aiden Quayle's goat, is our reserve overall grand champion. So congratulations to Izzy and Aiden on that. All right, coming up we have a female breeding meat goat. We got our juniors, 6 to 12 months. We got a class of our juniors, and then we've got a second class with the seniors. So that's a year to 2 years old. We got 6 goats in that 6 to 12 month class. John Carr out in the ring. Jennifer Resch has 2 goats in the female breeding class. Taylor Tunglin with Groom and Bloom has a goat, and Tyler Tunglin has 2 goats in this class. Again, John Carr, Jennifer Resch has 2 goats. Tyler Tunglin with 2 goats, and Taylor Tunglin rounding out this female breeding meat goat junior class.
this breeding goat class here, I think we've got two real good individuals to start this class. I'm going to start with this one. I really like the strength down her top. She's got a little extra hair on her, so it makes her look a little better. But you get your hands on her, there's still a lot of muscle in there. I'd like to straighten up those back legs just a little bit. She's a little wide. If you keep her set wide, she's not too bad, but you try narrowing her up, and those hocks want to turn out some. So it depends on if how that turns out. I think she'll be sound enough to be a breeding female. A really good pattern goat here in second with a lot of muscle. I really like her feet and legs. A little better than the one in first, but not quite the balance and strength down that top. Really long made brown goat here in third. She just doesn't have the amount of thickness that I'd like to see in these market goats, but very good pattern. We got three more goats. I'll be in the blue ribbon category. They're just giving up some size today and don't have the natural thickness the ones above them.
All right, that was Jennifer Resch with her two goats, champion and reserve in that female breeding meat goat junior category. Rounding out the class was Tyler Tunglin's two goats, and then Taylor Tunglin and John Carr. We've got two goats in the senior class. That's a 1 year to 2 years old female breeding meat goat. Nathan Goodell and Seth Goodell, both with the Silver Lakers.
These older breeding females, I think we got a real nice pair here. They're both very sound, very functional. I'm going with a little bit longer bodied, little leveler top. Both very free and easy moving, adequate underbone structure. Just a little more femininity and length than this one that I'm starting the class with. Possibly just a little thicker on the one in second, but just not quite the overall pattern that we have in the first one.
All right, that's Seth with the champion and Nathan with the reserve. Let's give them a hand. All right, now we've got the junior class champion in reserve and the senior champion in reserve, and we'll crown an overall breeding meat goat. Again, in the junior class, that's Jennifer Resch's two goats and Nathan and Seth Goodell.
I think we got some very nice individuals for this champion breeding doe. I'm going to go with the young one. I still really like her. I think those back legs will hold up. But she just really well profiled, a lot of muscle, still very feminine up through that front end. Reserve, I'm going to go with the yearling here. I really like her pattern. She's really good on her feet and legs. Moves out real good. Just a good kind of breeding female.
All right, so that's the champion out of the junior class and the champion out of the senior class, champion and reserve there. Jennifer Resch and Seth Goodell. All right, before moving into our showmanship, we have one final class, and this is the Dairy and Novelty Goat class. There is a couple additions to this class, but we've got Madeline Lortz and Mallory Lortz with the Milford Pioneers. We got Laney Lortz with the Silver Lakers. Taylor McPeak with the Groom and Bloom has 2 goats in this class, and then Braden Winter with the Groom and Bloom. Oh, Braden Winter was a scratch. And then we have two fainting goats. These will be out in the petting area, but John Carr and Caleb Frostenstad has 2 very young fainting goats. How old are they? 3 weeks and 5 days, so very, very young little goats.
Ain't they cute?
Yeah.
And they're even setting them a little.
So do you want the scratch one? Braden Winter was the scratch. Larry, do you want to talk about that class a little bit while you're out there?
Well, what's what I'm trying to figure out what I'm
Okay.
supposed to be doing.
These are the kids that have they're pet pretty much. I guess if you want to call it that, it would be a pet class. So none of them.
But do I need to place them on anything?
Do you feel comfortable?
Well, I need some criteria. But,
These are ones that want to show, but they don't really. They don't. According to our rules, you have to have to actually do a class. You have to have at least 2 families with 3 children. And so these don't qualify because there's only basically 1 of each. And yet these kids are going to gain a little children experience.
so is it more of a showmanship thing, or?
Yeah, I guess that would be the best way of putting it.
Okay.
See, that would be a good way of doing it. Do it on presentation.
Okay. All right.
Blues besides the signs.
He said to kind of do it on like a novice showmanship class, so I'll
Okay.
just go ahead and place them and then.
Okay, and then you'll talk.
Not the two little ones.
Okay, but the rest of them, I need the plates. Give me the criteria again, quick.
It's for dairy and novelty.
Well, I would just give them all blues. I mean, what's my criteria? They're all willing participants. They're out here having fun. I don't. Okay. Okay, in this class, we're just kind of clarifying exactly what it is. It's called a novice class. We're going to give all blue ribbons to all these exhibitors. They've came out here. They have some knowledge of the project. Their animals are well trained. They have spent some time with them. Some are borrowed. Some are raised at their own farms, acreages, whatever. But I think they all deserve a blue ribbon for being out here. Just getting the experience of being in a show ring, and the two young guys on this end, they're going to have back problems when they get done. They had to bend over more. So, but I think it's a good class, a good example of something that's just a little fun. Thank you.
They need a top two.
Okay, just a minute here. Okay, bring yours. Right over here. And then bring yours. 1 and 2. Put yours right on this side. I had to give those guys a little static about having back problems.
All right, we've got showmanship left here this morning, this afternoon. It's at 10 after 12. We've got our senior goat showmanship first. We've got 10 entries, 10 4-H'ers and FFA'ers in the senior class, and then after the senior class, we'll do the junior class.
Yeah. Mallory and then Taylor McPeak. Yep, the first one.
All right, for senior goat showmanship, we've got John Carr with Groom and Bloom, Aubrey Duas with Groom and Bloom, Lindsey Grau, Groom and Bloom, Mallory Lortz, Milford Pioneers, Amy Martin, Okobo GFFA, Izzy Ostafik, Groom and Bloom, Aiden Quayle, Groom and Bloom, Ava Rashi with the Silver Lakers, Claire Tillotson with Groom and Bloom, and Tyler Tunglin with the Groom and Bloom. Lunch is going to be going on here. The Silver Lakers will be providing that from 11 to 1:30 here in the indoor arena today. Again, the exhibit building is now open, so please enjoy all the exhibits there until 7 o'clock tonight. Farm Bureau virtual combines from 2 to 5 today, and suppers being provided by the beef producers between 5 and 7 o'clock tonight. Again, the beef producers, supper tonight, 5 to 7 in the Expo Center. Right after the supper tonight, 7 o'clock p.m. is the pie auction. Again, come out, support your local 4-H group and the 4-H council. This is a great fundraiser. Buy a pie and enjoy it. Again, that's a great fundraiser for our 4-H clubs and for the local 4-H council. Check out the Bucket of Junk exhibits as you're on your way in there. Again, Michael Gonerman was the winner of that contest with his locomotive. Also, enjoy a new display in the community room, the Tall Corn contest. John and Emily Betcher Seed sponsored that. So that rounds out today. Tuesday is Beef Day. The beef show starts things off at 8 a.m. Okoboji FFA serves lunch. The field trip to the fairs at 1. 2 to 5 is the Farm Bureau Virtual Combine. 5 to 7, the pork producers will be serving supper. And at 7:30 is a ranch rodeo, so come out and enjoy the ranch rodeo tonight at 7:30. Wednesday, the swine show gets things started at 8 a.m. Groom and Bloom kickball tournament at 10. Pedal tractor pull at 1. Overall showmanship at 2. Food truck roundup at 4. And the Fair Awards, Fashion and Communication Showcase at 4:30, and the Fair Awards at 5:30 on Wednesday. The pancake breakfast starts at 6:30 in the morning on Thursday, and the livestock auction begins at 8 a.m. I'd like to again thank today's sponsors, Dickinson County Ag Society, Iowa Great Lakes Chamber, Farmers Savings Bank, and the Mendel-Wernemount family. And Dickinson County Farm Bureau.
Okay, in this showmanship class, I picked out the 3 that I really liked out here. All of you have done a nice job, but all 3 of these were very attentive. They got their animals set up, very timely manner. A couple things I don't like. I would much prefer to see you when you're in line here and I tell you to move one place or the other. When you go out front, I can't see you. You want to present your animal to the judge at every possible chance you can get, especially when you're in kind of a final drive like this. So it's not like cattle. These you can turn real short, just turn and come right out and go to where you're going. That's my opinion. You don't need to be doing all this. It's time and effort wasted. And there again, I've already said I don't like seeing you change sides. You can, if the animal is well trained, if I want to see the other side, I will kind of put myself in that position. So when you're changing sides, can cause problems. It's not quite as bad with the goats where you do have the leashes on them and stuff, but I think these 3 have done an outstanding job. The others have all done a really good job too, but they've all done an outstanding job, and these are going to be your top 3 right here.
Tyler Tunglin.
All right, that is Izzy Ostovic with your champion senior goat showmanship, followed by Aiden Quail Reserve and Tyler Tunglin in third. So let's give them a hand. All right, we've got our junior showmanship coming into the ring now. We have got Bella Barnhart, Bowden Barnhart, Nathan Goodell, Seth Goodell, Kyle Grau, Madeline Lortz, Cora Niemeyer, Jennifer Resch, Taylor Tunglin, and Kendall Niemeyer.
Got a bunch of them.
in this class of showmanship. I think, again, we have some very fine individuals out here. I pulled these 5 over to this side. I think they're all very deserving, but this is going to be my top 3. I guess one of my pet peeves is I said on the last class kind of what I wanted to see. If you want to do well under me, you should be standing outside listening to what I say. I might not be right, but that's me. I'm judging today, and I think most judges would agree with me. But anyway, listen to what I say, and pretty much all of you, I don't remember for sure, when I pulled you out of line, you went up in front and around, then you came back, and then you had to make another circle to go in. If you just turn and come out and pull right in. A lot less steps, a lot less bother on your neighbors and everything. But these 3 ladies out here have all done a good job. It's getting late. It's getting kind of hot. Some of these have been out here quite a bit. They're not acting the best now, but they've all done a good job in class as well as here. They're not getting frustrated. They just kind of keep going at a slow pace, trying to get the job done. It doesn't always work the way you want it to, but if you don't get frustrated, just keep at it, slow and sure, you get the job done. So thank you very much, and it's excellent class.
All right, congratulations. That's Taylor Tunglin, champion, Jennifer Resch, reserve, and Cora Niemeyer. So Taylor Tunglin, Jennifer Resch, and Cora Niemeyer, our first, second, and third place in our junior goat showmanship. We have one more showmanship class, the novice class. So that's our youngest 4-Hers there, and then we will do rate again, and that will then end our day.
So novice is just no age, it's just beginners. Oh, they had a head gate. I just slammed that sucker down where you got your head between them bars.
All right, we've got Emma Boundhouse and Taylor McPeak with our novice goat showmanship. These are first-year 4-Hers.
and I really like both of them for being in the novice class. Thank you. Appreciate you asking me here. See ya.
All right, thanks again. Good job, Emma and Taylor, on the novice goat showmanship. And now we'll be bringing the kids out for a rate of gain. All right, we've got 10 kids with their goats placing here in the top 10. Kyle Grau, his goat was the top rate gainer at 0.63 pounds per day. Again, that's Kyle Grau. Congratulations, Kyle, on that. We've got Core Niemeyer at 0.6 pounds per day. Aiden Quayle, 0.59. And there was a tie for fourth. Aubrey Duas and Aiden Quayle at 0.56. Aubrey Duas had a second goat at 0.55, and Kyle Grau, 2 goats at 0.54. Emma Boundhouse, 0.53, and rounding out the top 10, Lindsay Grau at 0.52. So, again, congratulations on the rate of gain goats. That concludes everything for today. Thank you for coming out. Please come back to the many, many activities that we have going on all week long. Thanks for coming, and enjoy your day.